Welcome traders, thank you very much for joining me. So today is Sunday the 23rd of October and I'm recording this for the week commencing Monday the 24th of October. So just having a look at the economic calendar for the week ahead, it's jam-packed. So this qualifies in my mind as a very busy one and quite significant. So kicking off on Monday, we've got a lot of stuff out of the UK that will be sensitive to, especially with all the recent stuff going on. This will just add to the picture with regards to inflation and stability. We've also then got some consumer confidence on the Tuesday coming out of the US. And so we'll see what that is because everything's going to be about inflation. Same thing again for the Aussie dollar coming out with CPI figures, but also the US dollar with new home sales. Are they staying the same? Are they going up? Are they slowing down? What's happening with the home market, because there's still talk of a correction due in the property market, but that may not happen now. It could happen years from now. So we'll see. Then we've got on Thursday, we've got out the ECB interest rate decision. There's likely to be increases, guys. It's not a guarantee, but they are still planning for, all the different central banks are still planning for rate hikes, whatever is needed to calm the market down. Then we've got core durable goods orders as well out of the US initial jobless claims, unemployment. What's going on with that? For the most part, the US is holding up really well. With everything except the interest rates, which will impact mortgage repayments and so on, loans. But in terms of jobs, so on, it seems to be doing just fine. Then we've got Friday. Of course, we'll look at the charts and we'll talk about it. Bank of Japan now starting to really get a little bit ticked off about the lack of response to its previous intervention, starting to talk more about that. So I think Friday I would be paying attention to what language is used and to what their plans are with regards to further intervention, because that could really have a big impact on all of the yen pairs. So, and then finishing off just with 3 o'clock on Friday, this is in the UK time, 3 o'clock UK time, pinning home sales just to see how those are doing. Are they dropping, increasing? What's going on? So all of that will give us a clearer picture as to whether inflation is starting to curb. Whatever else is some stuff getting better, some stuff getting worse, and we'll have to see how that goes. So that being said, let's move across and have a look at the charts. All right, so it may or may not be significant that we've had now another very strong bearish engulfing candle. After we've had a series of these, we've had some strong reactions. We can see here the weekly is encountering some strong resistance at, I'm going to call it 113.20. And so all of this hinting at a monthly slowdown. All right, this looks something quite different. However, it's only going to count when we break these lows. And the only reason it's going to count when we break these lows is because we need to have this not produce a series of higher lows leading to a breakout. That's basically it. So once we start to break these lows specifically, once we start to do that, that's going to hint. So that's 109.96. That's then going to hint at a monthly correction, which could see a very significant correction to the downside. And that will have implications and trading opportunities across the board. So I think I want to pay attention to that. So technically in isolation, this hints at the fact that we're likely to have a weaker dollar this coming week. It hints at that, but combining that with the very busy economic calendar with lots of high impact stuff, it is not helping because it's going to introduce, we could have a lot of things. We could have a lot of spiky big moves. So let's just recap what happened last week. On euro dollar, we've got a series of high lows. These candles look really, really nice and bullish. We've got an inside bullish candle at the moment, a little bit of an indecision candle. All of these are signs of a possible change in direction. If we did, we would be getting a swing low on the monthly, which would imply a correction up to 105, which we've been waiting for a while, but it is what it is. And here we'd be pushing back up to parity. So this is what I think is highly likely. So last week I said that we just had, based on what we saw, the dollar looked very much set to strengthen, and there was a less of a chance of the markets pushing back, but they were definitely on a cliff edge. And that's actually exactly what happened. They did hold their ground, but they didn't just hold their ground. It seems as though they actively pushed back. And so this reintroduces what I was hoping to see the week prior to that, as it looks as though we might have some pushback on this. I want to see this week seeing us push back to parity and then seeing what happens with that. If we look at cable's in a very similar scenario, very nice bullish candle here as well. Certainly has the potential. It's got to get past this cluster over here, but it has the potential to go back up to 1.15. And if it could push back past that, it then starts to look at 1.18. So it's got some nice room to move. And so if we do get those follow throughs, guys, there's some great shorter term day trading opportunities across all these pairs, across all the charts I'm going to have a look at today. However, I would say that with all the news coming out as well, I'd be so quick. I probably started with less risk. My position sizes would be smaller. I'd be quicker to take profits on my first take profit target, and then certainly getting prepared to have some kind of a news event possibly, stop me out. And so I would possibly expect more break-even trades, and just be prepared for that. It may not go that way at all. Could just be the technicals follow through and we get some great weaker dollar trades that are available to us. Look at this beautiful bullish engulfing candle on Aussie dollar. Very keen here to see it push back up to 0.65 and a little bit further. It's overdue for that. Kiwi dollar also looking exactly the same. Kiwi dollar could have some room up to 0.6. So that's some good opportunities. That would be a very big move in a week, but it would be nice to see that happening. Dollar yen. So let's talk about this. So I was saying on Friday during the day, it was just ticking along. So I took a trade. It obviously hit its P3, take target, 3R, I beg your pardon, depends which language you use. And I forgot about it. I kind of signed off for the rest of the day. And then, of course, not just after that, but towards the end of the day, there was a bit of intervention and a massive spike here across a lot of the yen pairs. And I think this is something we can come to expect a lot more of. And that's why I would pay attention to rumblings and moanings from the Bank of Japan. This is not what they want, and the risk is now going to be higher. I think the markets are going to attempt, I think fundamentally what is adding to this overarching kind of prevailing trend, that isn't going to go away immediately. It's probably going to continue. It just is going to want to resume now and keep going, but they're going to start pushing back a lot more. And so for me, I'm probably going to just kind of watch on all the yen pairs, just put them on the bench for the coming week to see how this goes. We've got dollar Swissy also producing a nice bearish rejection candle here. And in the right place here, we've got some bearish divergence. We've got a lower high here. All of this hinting at a possibility that if we close lower this coming week, if we follow through on this, then we might be up for November. We might be up for a weaker dollar and seeing moves in that direction. Dollar CAD as well. Look at this really nice bearish candle. Look at the general line here at 1.38. You could just see those really nice reactions there. A little bit of a head and shoulders type of thing. But also that weekly chart certainly looks as though it's preparing for a move back down to 1.330, I beg your pardon. And so that is, all of these are hinting and pointing at that stronger dollar. It looks as though the stronger dollar, so we had that attempt to push the dollar back, then the dollar pushed back against that. And then this last week, we've pushed the dollar back again. So there's definitely that battle going on. We've spoken about it for ages. You know what I'm talking about. EURUSD. So EURUSD, I'm still confident that it wants to test parity again. It is battling at this level here around about that 0.98. It does want to test parity. I want to see some pushback on that and see if it can break through. But look at the wicks coming in here. It's really battling. It might need to do a bit of a correction to the downside and then recover and then take another run at it. But that is certainly something on my watch list this week. Then moving on to gold. Look at that beautiful bullish candle. Nice bullish engulfing candle. It's a double bottom. It's got beautiful bullish divergence on both indicators. Looks fantastic, man. This so far really, really good. I need to see it follow through on this. I want to get through this level. I think we will. I think we could even see this week see us maybe touch 1.7 if we have a great week. 1.7. If we start to do that, then the picture starts to change. We start to get a bullish candle here, and then all of a sudden 1.8 and so on and so forth starts to come into play. So that's great if we can get that follow through. So the results look good. It's interesting to get a bullish response here. And by the way, what I'm saying now applies to a lot of the other charts. To get a bullish pushback after this previous bullish pushback at these same levels with the bullish divergence, that hints at the market's getting slightly stronger or more courageous, whichever language you want to use, starting to look more aggressive. They're starting to push back a bit, so that could be good. Then let's look at some of the other metals. So we've got copper. High low, starting to look more and more bullish. Series over here as well, starting to look good on that as well. Natural gas is going through its thing, so that's tanking a bit. That's okay. We're all okay with natural gas prices coming down. We're all getting prepared to get rinsed on our gas prices, certainly in the UK with winter coming up. And touch wood, I hope for everybody out there that we have a mild winter and your costs are kept to the downside there. Then we've got crude oil. So crude oil is interesting because, as I said, it is in a really great area for it to produce a bullish candle and keep going. It does look as though it's battling to just pick up that trend and keep going. It really is. It's got a little bit of that area where it could be an inverse head and shoulders. And honestly, if we get that weaker dollar, we're going to see this push back up. We're going to see, because the dollar, part of all the other stuff going on is that strong dollar was keeping it at bay. So for this week, I think if we see gold push higher and we get that kind of thing, I expect this to push up a little bit higher on that one. But I'm going to wait and see. So for now, it's really is, are we going to break this low or start pushing back up to these highs over there? So that's my expectation there. Let's have a look at sugar. Sugar is trying to break a little bit higher. So actually, I need to see where it is now. I need to see it push up. It's in a good area for it to produce a bullish candle and a swing low and then start working its back way back up to 19. Coffee very much overextended to the downside now, producing some bullish candles. So this week, I expect that to maybe possibly take a push back up to these highs and test that for resistance. Then we've got wheat. Wheat's having come back a little bit further than I was expecting. This was a great area for it to find some support. Yes, it was capable of coming down here, but this is not, basically this implies it doesn't really know what it wants to do. And that monthly is also looking kind of mixed. So for this week, yeah, it's possible we could test resistance and start hitting a bit low. It's a little bit range bound. This is giving mixed signals. So this is one of those ones that is not offering as much clarity. Cotton, overextended. I would like to see a nice retracement. Overall, very bearish. I'd like to see if we can find some resistance, and looking so far, expecting some continuation to the downside. Unless it should break back up above this level, start to come up towards these highs, then there might be a different outcome. But right now, that looks more bearish than bullish. Okay, on to the global indices. Great. Love this. Okay, so I'm not saying that for sure that we're turning around, because it's very difficult. It's in the dark with a torch looking at the ground. You can't see that far ahead. But what I can say is this, is that if 6 months from now we are back up towards these old highs and we look back, these will be the signs that we saw. This will be the turning point for sure. Okay, and also these are the kinds of things that we need to see when the market is turning. So it is producing those types of signals, turning point signals. But that doesn't mean it's going to succeed. I'm just saying that it is producing those. Let me take you through some of those. So first of all, we've got a double bottom here on the daily. We've got a break to a high. We've got a shift to a new trend. So it goes from a low to a high, high low to a high, then it breaks above it, comes back, produces a bullish engulfing candle off the top of the previous high, finding support there. Looks good. We've got sort of a bit of an equal low here on a lower low on that, so that's relatively bullish, and that monthly is producing a very nice bullish candle right off the 50. And this is significant because in the past, if we go look at some of these, so let's just kind of bring that up a bit, this is often what happens. We pull back towards the 50 period moving average, head away. Here we came down, almost touched it. Here we almost touched it. Here we overshot it because the market is going through a bit of a shock, and here we've come back down to the 50, and it's preparing now. It's a nice bullish candle. These are, there is a good case to be made here for the markets to recover from where they are. But we're not in the clear yet because we still have the rest of October to work our way through, and therefore we could finish with a rejection candle that actually closes below the 50 period moving average, which would then imply that we're going to see the markets head further down, okay, through November. But for now, this is a great, really nice bullish attempt. I would like... really would like to see us push up a little bit higher here and follow through. But how much we follow through, that I really am not sure this week. I'm going to have to see how it goes. Beautiful again, just saying this is a really nice area for it to turn around. You can see we just breached that 2021 low in this area. We just tapped below it. And we've now started to push back up on this one. Again, we've got a higher low here, but we need to break these. We've got to start pushing right back up towards these highs. And I'm not sure exactly how good that is, but these are good signs. I'm optimistic here. We've got a nice little bullish indecision candle. This blue area is looking at the quarterly and annual trends, and it's in a nice area. The blue area is a perfect, really nice turning point. If you need me to demonstrate this, we can have a look here. But let me just move some of these things out the way. If we go here and we look at it on a quarterly basis, actually it would be an annual basis. Now we're looking at a lot more history. You can see here it's coming back into this area. Is a good nice area for it to potentially turn around in that quarter as well. It's a great area. So now it's pulled back into the 20 period moving average. It's a good place for it to turn. It's not unreasonable for the markets to do it. So that's why I'm saying it could actually happen at this point in time. But there's still more that I need to see. There's more stuff that needs to happen. It needs to start breaking above these highs. It needs to get back up above that 50 period moving average. And we need to see a high, low, high trend, which is going to take time. It's going to take 2-3 months. So that's why I'm saying at whichever point we are at the bottom, we start turning around. These are the kinds of things that I'm going to have to see. Mini Russell. Let's have a look at the Russell 2000. Also potential double bottom here with these nice little nice little bullish candle where we are here. You can see bullish divergence on this, really nice equal low here, and bullish divergence there. We've got some really nice bullish signals starting to push in here, but I need to break these highs, start pushing up. I like that. The FTSE. FTSE as well, producing a bit of a bullish candle off a significant level of support. I want to get this back up above 7,000. This is a psychological level. It's a historical level. It is very significant, and I want to see us back over this, ideally by the end of October. Basically, if we can finish to the highs at the end of the month, that adds further gravity to the likelihood that we will see a stronger move for the rest of the month. The DAX as well also looking pretty good. Look, that weekly's in a downtrend. We are definitely looking quite bearish there. That monthly also a little bit more bearish. But where we are price-wise is a significant area. And in terms of a Fibonacci retracement, some of these, depending on which one you look at, are at a 50 fib, some are at a 618, some are just past the 382. They're all in really good places to turn around. Okay, so that's one I will see continuation on it. Let's have a look at the Nikkei. Just a series of multiple tests of support here and a nice little bullish candle here, but this I don't think will count until we start to break above these highs here. So there's not a lot that really helps us with there. We've got the ASX double bottom, bullish divergence in that case. Sorry, in case you can't see it there, we need to break above these highs. Okay, need to get back up above that 50-period moving average. And if we do that from where we are, if we start to break up above there 6.8, then again, and we're doing that, we're seeing it across multiple indices at the same time, it's going to be a good thing. It's not a bad thing. So Glencore recovering, starting to push back up towards these highs. That looks good. Continuing that nice little bullish trend on the monthly, looking good. All right, so there we go. Seems like it's got its head back in the game. Looks like a Tesco. Tesco starting to climb back up from the lows there. This could definitely do with a move back up to 220. Is it going to be the bottom of it? Well, unfortunately, time will tell, but we'd have to get back over 230 for that to be the case, and that's going to take a while. We've got Amex. Multiple rejections of this 134 level. It's trying to stay above that, and it's almost trying to tap on that 50-period moving average. Same thing again. We'll have to see. We're not in the clear yet. I'd have to see it fail to break below this coming week and break above the high to really convince me that it's relatively safe. Apple here starting to lead the charge. Look at this. That looks really nice and bullish. That looks really nice and bullish. That's a strong area. It's trying to stay above. Yep, it's a higher low. Could be good, but wow, a real win would be to be above 152, 156 by the end of the month. ARC Innovation, double bottom there on the daily, also looking good. A little bit of bullish divergence creeping in. I'm not going to get too optimistic about this because these have taken such a hard hit. But look at this clear bullish divergence over here. You can see that MACD trending higher. We've got it trending lower here. I need to, again, I'll be sort of happier when I see this breaking above these highs here. So back up above 50 on that and starting to push a little bit higher. Not seeing that. There's just not enough evidence of that yet. But man, even if we could get a nice little bullish candle over here finishing as a bullish candle off this level by the end of the month, that would be great. We've got AT&T. Let's just kind of clean up some of these charts a little bit. Yeah, AT&T's had a bit of a recovery there. That's not bad. I think they'll probably be able to work their way back up to the next highs. We've got Berkshire Hathaway. Berkshire's going to be doing fine. Double bottom here on the weekly looking really good. I want to see it get back over by 293. Look, when I say that, those are kind of like, if I do that to my brain, that's a win. That's like getting an A+ on a test. But it's sometimes the markets just can't do that much of a move. It doesn't look that far to me, but maybe there's too much to ask the markets to do it. But if we get it, I would say it's a strong sign. BP. Push it up a little bit higher, back up against these things here. Also, that hinting at possibility of oil getting a little bit stronger. We're going to see how that goes. Oil should be getting stronger technically, and a weaker dollar would certainly boost it. So interesting to me. Let's see if Exxon's also looking bullish. There it is. Look at that. Pushing through. It's already created new highs. Possibly in anticipation of some benefits coming out of winter. We'll see. We really have to also see what's going to happen with this war in Ukraine. It's really important that there's no change with support to aid to Ukraine. Ultimately, that'll get us to this war ending because they're never going to quit. The Ukrainians are never going to give up. And so this war's never going to end until Russia backs off. That's just the reality of it. Or unless they escalate it and do something, like super dangerous for the whole planet using nukes and whatnot. Those are the only two outcomes, and one of those is not good for the rest of the planet, and the one is actually pretty good for everyone. So we need to see that change happen, and the reason I bring that up is that if that does happen, or we're close to that, we're going to see we should see a really nice boost in the markets because commodities and supply chain issues should ease up a little bit, and that should help. Tweak inflation. These are all kind of big cogs, but they should help. We've got FedEx also just hovering. It's back into a range again. It was ranging here as well. This is due for a bit of a boost up. I'd want to see it get back over 165, but yeah, there's a good possibility it's got a nice little bit of support here and can work its way back up to the top of the range. General Motors looking really nice and bullish. Look how a lot of them closed up at the top. We've got bullish divergence. Those weeklies looking good. So my plan A would then be to, if we get that follow through, we're going to see them just move up to the top of their recent highs on the weekly. Look at that big strong finish from JP Morgan Chase. Big strong bullish engulfing candle there. That's a strong. These are fantastic very good, strong signs. Meta producing a little bit of a bullish setup here. Again, this is one of those ones that's inherently weak, so my expectation for it is expectations are lower. I want to see this push back up into, say, 150, just the recent big highs or recent levels or maybe recent round numbers. Morgan Stanley. Inside bullish, no, not an inside bullish candle, I beg your pardon. Possible slightly high low, but there is definitely some resistance. A battle for this is ceiling at 85, which is up here. So yeah, let's just see if we can get back up to that level, and then we'll see how it goes after that. Netflix, that was a really nice recovery. Look at that. It's gapped up and it's taken off. That's great. So this, might want to come back and close the gap. We'll see how that goes. Otherwise, I'm expecting 300 in its future. And it has good room up to 375. So that's great. Fantastic. If we could follow through on that, NVIDIA also looking pretty good. Nice little area. It's good. These are valid areas for them to turn around. We've got PayPal, which is not looking strong yet. This needs to really, this is a bull flag, so I would need to see this break this. So let's just grab a bit of a line here, something like this. Just kind of, this is a general thing, guys. Just wanting to, no, I just needed you to do that, and then I just needed to bring up the options and just change this to something very sensitive, just kind of very gentle, and see if we start to break that. That's all I want to see. Just see us breach that. But it's a bull flag. And then we've got Vanguard as well, also trying to turn around here. Definite bullish divergence from both indicators. Lower low there, bullish divergence there. That hints at a lot of bullishness. That monthly candle on the 50-period moving average, beautiful. Guys, I have to say when I look at this that that these are all the signs that we need to see in a turning point, and that it doesn't mean it is a turning point, but it's just spooky. It's producing the same signals. So let's see. Won't that be interesting? And let's move on to bonds. Bonds also a little bit overextended, bearish here. I don't really expect these to ultimately change. I would look for trend continuations. At some point, I do expect it to do a retracement back up on the weekly, back up to these highs. And other than these little symbols here where it might start heading up, I'm not right now expecting a significant change in the overall moves. Here I can see bullish divergence creeping in, and it's finding a bit of a floor on Eurobonds. And so here, yeah, again, might come back up into these old highs, some smaller moves to the upside there, not expecting much there. Now, cryptos. So if that's going to happen, then we should also get some bumping up on cryptos. Can they get back up to the top of their ranges? Can they get beyond that? That could be very interesting. That's great. Look at, this is really cool. So check this out. We've got a series of high lows coming into this flat level. So if you imagine that where we are looking at now is a level of resistance, we've basically got the MACD leading to a bullish breakout. That's fantastic. To me, that could be a really good sign. So I want to see that follow through. And then almost done. Ethereum also looking really good. Bullish divergence there, bullish price action there. I want to see this, but this could be leading, guys, possibly leading to a breakout. But that breakout could be next week or the week after, only if these other things start to fall into place. Cardano is still within its downtrend. It's dipped below those lows. It's starting to still looks bullish here. Again, here I think that if we do push up, we could see this back up to these old highs. And it's a bonus if we push up and break those highs. And then we've got Binance. Same thing again here. I expect us to push up back into the middle of the range or possibly to the top of the range is considered a bonus for now. Because you can't expect the market to just suddenly rebound very quickly. It's going to be cautious. It's going to take some time. So I'm expecting smaller gains at first. For example, here with Solana, I'd like to not just see it come up, meet resistance and produce a rejection of that. I'd rather see it close above that line or even break these highs. To me, that would be considered a big bonus. So that's it. I'm going to wrap up here, but it's going to be volatile. I don't know what the outcome is. Right now it's signaling that it is going to weaken dollar and we're going to see a nice boost. We need to see how the month finishes because that also is going to dictate what we see happen in November, but this is good. Overall, this is not a very pessimistic, we're falling off a cliff thing. So it'll be obviously tragic if we suddenly the market reverses again, but that's just weird. We have the market push one way, then push back, then reverse on that, and then reverse again, and now it's going to reverse again. That's too much. Sorry, let me recap that. So we had a stronger dollar, then we had a pushback on the stronger dollar, then the dollar pushed back on that, then last week we had a push back against the dollar. It's too much. Eventually, at some point, it's got to cave. So I'd like to see this week it follow through and then push back on the dollar again, and we get that weaker dollar. So let's hope so. Have a fantastic week. Trade cautiously and sensibly, especially keeping an eye on Bank of Japan and the news, and also hopefully take advantage of some of these moves if they do follow through. Thank you very much. Chat to you next week.